first of all, I'd like to say that I've been one of his critics, and if I'd have chosen the team yesterday, he wouldn't have started. So I hold my hand up there.
I want you to just describe to me how you reckon England should face up against the Scotland side with that 3-5-2 or that 5-2-3, however they're going to set up, because I believe that they're going to stick with that 5 at the back. Tierney may come back into that squad to play as left centre back. So how would you kind of start that England team, Neil?
I've always been a bit of a critic of Pickford, but watching some of the other goalkeepers play for us in friendlies, it just shows how good Pickford is with his distribution. He can sometimes be erratic, but recently he seems to have found his form. So I think he has to start every game that is fit. Yeah. With the back four, I think Mings has done enough to partner Stones at the centre, providing they're both match fit. I believe that Kyle Walker's done enough at right back. So unless we're looking at resting players, I would again go with Kyle Walker. On the left, it's really a toss-up between Shaw and Chilwell. I think that we need to start thinking about, this is a Scotland team, we can get behind them. We need to be getting to the byline, getting crosses in. We've got enough talent up front. So I would go, I would probably go for Shaw. I think his season's been slightly better. So I think Shaw would get the nod over Chilwell, just about. I was really happy with the midfield on Sunday. And again, I would go with Rice and Phillips in the midfield. If Scotland are playing with 3 in the middle to try and pack the midfield out, you maybe want to have Mount sitting a little bit further behind, so he can actually help out if necessary. But with the main idea of attack, try to pin Scotland back as much as we can. And then the 2 attacking midfielders on the side, I think we did well with Foden and Sterling. I think this time we should give Grealish and Sterling a go.
Yeah.
This time, with obviously Kane up front. I think that the key thing is that Scotland realised after 60 minutes in the game today that they needed to get something out of their game, and they threw a lot at trying to pull something back. So I think that they may have some slight fatigue. So I think we need to make the most of that. You're always going to find that when Scotland are playing England, Scotland are going to give it as much as they can, but we just need to exploit we've got the extra ability. There's no question about that. It's just that we need to make sure that we show it on the pitch. They've got some really good dedicated players, like you've got McGinn and McTominay in the middle, but we just need to use our skills to get around them. We can't get into a trap where it's like a brawl with them. We need to just show that we are technically better.
No, that's good to hear. It's good to hear your thoughts, and thanks for going through your 1 to 11 for that team as well. But I think with the energy that they've got in their team with McGinn and McTominay, that's something that we can replicate and probably dominate with as well. So that's something that I would go for a 3-4-3 in this team, personally. This is how I would do it. I'd go for Pickford in goal. I'd go for a back 3 of Walker, Stones and Mings. So having Walker right centre back. Stones and Mings, they did very well against Croatia. Keep them in the side, no reason to rotate them. Then I'd go for the fullbacks of Reece James and Ben Chilwell, who have worked in this system under Thomas Tuchel. Reece James hasn't played yet, is back in the squad. Hopefully Chilwell's fit after the missing out on the bench for Croatia as well. I think that's going to be a big thing for Gareth Southgate, because Andrew Robertson was their best player today from what I saw. Especially in the first half, which I heard on the radio. But from what I saw, Andrew Robertson was the better player to actually go through and take the sword to Czech Republic and take the fight to them. They didn't win, obviously, but he still gave it his all. Che Adams will probably be starting as well after his second half performance today. So a bit of pace from Che Adams against the likes of Walker, against the likes of Stones, Mings one-on-one. I'm confident the 3 of them can take the Scotland side on, and matching them tactically will try and nullify out McGinn and McTominay in that midfield as well. So having Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice sitting in there, I'm happy to do that. Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips, I believe it will be a beautiful partnership for the next 5-10 years with these 2 in our midfield. And then going up front with a front 3, I would go with Mount and Grealish behind Harry Kane, personally. So this is where I think people will be like, oh, why not play Sterling? Why not play Foden? But with Jack Grealish against a low block team, as an Aston Villa fan, Neil, you can tell me and you can tell all of our listeners how well he does against the likes of, let's say, Burnley or the likes of Crystal Palace and teams where they play a low block and they really don't want to attack and they really want to just subdue you for 70, 80 minutes and try and get a goal from a set piece or on a counter or anything like that. And having someone like Jack Grealish there in these tight spaces, working with Mason Mount, working with Harry Kane, who would be the number 9 as well. And he's got that tactical now to drop in a bit more as well, not always being that focal point as a number 9. I see Grealish and Mount working really well together. I see something that we can bring Foden, Sancho, maybe Rashford on later as well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin if we're going to go for a 3-4-1-2 and 2 strikers up top. That's something I believe we could do. But that's personally how I would do it. I'd like to see Reece James and Chilwell kind of just nullify their wing backs and nullify Andrew Robertson, who I think is their main threat personally. What do you think of my little 3-4-3?
Yeah, I agree. That's a good position. I think that you're right with Grealish. The teams that sit back, there's no point having your Sterlings and your Rashfords because they're not going to have the chance to get around the back because there's not going to be enough space there for them.
Exactly.
With it being a typical Scotland-England game, there's going to be a lot of commitment in tackles and things like that. And I think Grealish is the player that can make the most of that, whether he's getting free kicks because they're kicking at him or whether he can get around the back, draw people out of position. For the Czech Republic first goal today, the Czech Republicans managed to pull the team out of position. McGinn ended up with a 2-on-1 when one of the defenders tried to help out. He just left the gap that created the space for the striker to score. So again, if we have someone like Grealish who can do that, and he tends to be the master of doing that, pulling 2 or 3 players out at a time, then that would be really a good tactic to go for. I think with your formation as well, you've got your 2 wing backs that can dart up and down. Given that they haven't played today, they should have enough energy to go the whole 90 minutes, full intensity, and cause problems for the whole game.
Definitely. Even if they can't do it, and let's say Chilwell was replaced by Saka, and you wanted to bring Trippier on at right wing back like he was playing in the 2018 World Cup, that's still an option. That's still viable, and it's still something I believe that if Reece James wanted to go back into right centre back and Walker wanted to be subbed for Trippier, however it goes,